welcome back to Tea with Sarah. Today I have Sunaina Yadav and she flew down to Sri Lanka especially to have a chat with us. So Sunaina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, Sarah. So as you know, I'm a scientist. I have a PhD in neurogenetics from Imperial College, and I have recently forayed into the startup world in India and set up my own consultancy.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're an entrepreneur.
I am a wannabe entrepreneur, yes.
Wannabe?
Yes.
So, but in my eyes, you are successful already.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about some of your prior successes, failures, and major responsibilities?
It's a long list of successes, failures.
I have time.
Well, I think my stellar academic career, I would list that as one of my biggest successes. I have a couple of degrees, as you know, and some of them are very, very competitive. So I genuinely pride myself in terms of my academic achievements. And I am now looking at setting up my own company, and as a scientist trying to go beyond just research and papers to actually achieve some sort of commercial success. So I think maybe if we interview in another 5 years, I'll be able to tell you about my biggest failure. So.
How do you motivate yourself or stay motivated?
I think I just rationalize everything. I break it down. So if something happens or negative happens or something doesn't go my way, I always tell myself that it's a bad day. It's not a bad life,
True.
And I always divide everything as good, bad and ugly. Good, bad and ugly, yes. So some days are really, really good and some days are terribly ugly. But I know that it's gonna get better. So I have an internal monitoring system which helps me just rationalize a problem and just move on with it. So yeah.
What do you usually do, like to relieve your stress?
I do a lot of things, Sarah, and I think the biggest thing is spend some time with animals. So I am an ardent animal welfare activist, so I like to go play with my street dogs. I watch a lot of these cute dog videos on Facebook. It immediately helps pick up my spirits. And then I work out a lot. I think exercise is a great stress reliever. So going for a run, going to the gym, doing some yoga, and pretty much whatever it takes to make yourself feel better. Pint of ice cream, so be it.
Chocolate?
Absolutely. Lots of chocolate.
To a woman who wants to be successful in life, if you are to give a piece of advice, what would it be?
So I meet a lot of young women who want to pursue a career in the STEM fields, which is science, technology and engineering. And the number one thing that I tell them is to be fearless. Like, don't be afraid of mathematics, physics, chemistry. These are all sciences that the world kind of functions on, and also just work hard and pursue excellence, and there's really nothing that can stop you if you're willing to work really hard. So yeah, that's what I mostly tell women.
So you're a scientist, okay? So if I may to say this, some people think that science is a male dominant trade. Is that true?
So in my career, I have seen that a lot of girls at high school, they excel in science and mathematics. As we move on to higher education, so undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD levels, the number of women exponentially start decreasing. They start dropping out for whatever reasons. And by the time you get to a stage where you're going to be an assistant professor or a principal investigator of a research group, you barely see any women leaders. You're right.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of socio-cultural factors that cause women scientists and highly qualified trained women scientists to drop out of the field. So you're right. So the presence of women in science is remarkably less than men, but things are improving.
I have made lots of mistakes in my life, right? And if I may to ask you, okay, obviously you must have too. Like maybe not the biggest mistake, the funniest mistake that you have ever made in your life.
I think I colored my hair blue once.
No, seriously?
Yeah, just before. So I was selected for this young investigator award, and I was supposed to be giving a presentation, and I went and got my hair colored. I thought I'll be really retro and different, and it actually, backfired. So that was one of the worst mistakes in my professional career. So I'm back to my black hair now. So.
You don't have a picture of that?
No, I don't.
Right.
I would like to forget that chapter of my life. So yeah.
I am a fishitarian. There's no word. Yeah, I know. But you're a vegetarian.
Yes.
So, how do you survive?
Well, I have been a vegetarian all my life, so it's not a matter of choice for me. And as a very, very small kid, I once witnessed the slaughtering of a chicken, and that was pretty much enough for me. I did not want to be part of any sort of suffering, either for animals or for human beings. And so it's a very simple choice for me. I'm also, I don't use leather. I don't support cosmetics that have animal products. So I try my best to stay away and refrain from using products which are a result of the commercial exploitation of animals, essentially. Yeah.
So, what do you think of animal cruelty?
I mean, what do I think of animal cruelty? It's absolutely abhorrent, unacceptable, and there is a lot of it around the world. We live in a cruel world, but I feel that most people are not actively cruel. I see a lot of negligence, but I don't think most people are cruel. There are just a select few, and they need to be punished by law, for sure.
If you are to give a piece of advice to people who hurt animals,
I'm coming for you. Well, I mean, growing up in a city like Delhi in India, we saw a lot of cases of animal cruelty, and I had a great circle of friends and also my family who supported me. So we have fought hard, physical battles, verbal battles, media battles, police battles to protect animals. So I am ready for a fight anywhere.
most of the time people say that animals don't have emotions or feelings.
I think that is a very primitive way of thinking, and mostly these are people who've never spent time with an animal. I think animals are centennial beings. They feel, they think, they're very, very intelligent, and being a scientist who has actually worked with animals, I see the fear in their eyes. I see their sense of family, their sense of friendship. And I think anybody who thinks that animals are stupid or they can't think, I think they're not evolved in their thought process.
Getting back to being a vegetarian, how do you get your protein? Because I am personally, yes. I am trying to become a vegetarian,
Sure.
so I mean, you'll be advising.
So I'm actually, along with being a vegetarian, I'm a health freak, and I live my life based on macros. So macros are essentially your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats.
Yeah.
So as a vegetarian, I have amazing sources of protein, actually vegan sources. So I've got tofu, soya, all the legumes and pulses. They are great sources of protein. And I think one thing that people don't understand is that proteins are the building block of everything. So even a salad is going to have protein. Anything you eat has protein. Maybe the concentration varies, but everything that you put into your mouth is a protein source, albeit just different concentrations. So as a vegetarian, if your diet is rich in legumes, pulses, beans, tofu, soya, you're getting really, really healthy, fat-free protein.
Do you have any mentors?
And they are mostly in-house. So I strongly believe, especially as young women, we need mentors from the very beginning. And I was very, very lucky to have my mother as one of the biggest mentors. She's a professor in Delhi University, a career woman who's balanced her life and her career really, really well. So I grew up looking at her, and just holding her in the highest regard. I also have 3 older sisters. All of them are high achievers with great careers and families. And again, I didn't have to look too far. So I strongly believe that, as women, if we have a mentor within our family, a mother, a sister, an aunt, that sets us up for life, essentially. And
True.
I've been very, very lucky to have that. And of course, as you grow older, you meet exceptional women like yourself. You know, you make friends at university and at work who further add to that. But that foundation is kind of set by your closest people at your youngest, most formative years.
So, Sunaina, what challenges have you faced in your professional career as a woman?
That's an interesting question because I am always self-analyzing. So I essentially divide my challenges into two. One is self-created, which I kind of do to myself, and other are external challenges, which I have no control over. Self-challenges, Sarah, you know, there are times when I've said, oh, I'm a woman. I have a meeting at 8 p.m. I don't think I can go there, I don't feel safe, I don't have a way coming back, and I miss out on that opportunity, which could be a very important business opportunity. Maybe I feel awkward in a boardroom full of men. So these are things that are internal. I have somehow internalized these assumptions, and I have restricted myself. And because of that, I have faced several challenges. I've missed out on opportunities. Others are external, you know, where someone has actively tried to either stop you from, you know, rising within the professional ranks. You're not able to break through the glass ceiling. But in my experience, I've realized that most of the self-created challenges are more. Mm-hmm. I'm restricting myself rather than someone actually actively working to stop me.
Yeah.
So, and I say this to a lot of young women that I meet, stop telling yourself that you're a woman. You know, stop telling yourself that you can't do science or maths. Yeah. You know, just be gender neutral. Not every man out there is trying to stop you or try to misbehave with you.
True.
You know, there are wonderful men out there as well. So approach everything in a gender neutral manner and stop restricting yourself. Yeah. You know, and that's, I think, essentially will take away 90% of your challenges.
Of course, there are wonderful men in this world. My grandfather is one of them.
Absolutely. Without him, I don't think I would be who I am. Again, he's been a great mentor, a great supporter of all my dreams and ambitions. So we need men like that, and there are men like that as well.
You're single, I'm single as well. As a single woman, trying to become an entrepreneur.
Yes.
It's not easy. How are you going to deal with that?
So my way of dealing with that, Sarah, is not to deal with it because I'm not defined by my relationship status. Yeah. I'm not defined by my gender.
True.
I am Sunaina Yadav of a certain skill set and training with a certain idea, with a certain amount of funding, and I'm just going to go for it.
It's a very good advice.
You know, it doesn't matter to me. So if someone looks at me, they will be nothing but impressed. I'm convinced of that. So I don't go into a boardroom or a meeting for funds with the attitude that, oh, here comes a single woman. You know, and I don't think they care either.
True.
If you're smart enough, if you have enough passion and energy, it doesn't matter.
Sunaina.
Yes.
Our new segment. What's in your handbag?
Oh,
I see a big black handbag down there. So you have to show me 3 items from your handbag and we'll talk about it.
Well, Sarah, I carry pretty much my entire life in my handbag, and that's why it's so big.
What would you do if it goes missing?
Oh God, I would die. My whole life is in here, so yeah. Okay, where do I start? 3 things.
Yes.
Okay, so firstly, my tiny little medicine pouch.
It's not so tiny.
Exactly. I have everything from headache medication to nausea, vomiting, pretty much anything. Like the entire pharmacy is in here, so I can't do without this.
That's a lot of medicine.
That's a lot
for
of
one person.
So yes. No, I constantly lend medicine to people as well. So, and then I think my phone.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's nobody can live without this phone, right?
Obviously,
so,
yes.
Yeah, so the phone.
I'll die without my phone.
Exactly. So, what else? Okay, this is really unusual, but I have
your hairspray.
No, this is not my hairspray. This is a antiseptic medicine, a spray-on for animals.
Seriously? In your handbag?
Yes, come on. I mean,
You carry it everywhere?
Yeah, so in India, when I'm traveling by car, I'm walking on the street, I see a lot of dogs with wounds, and I just sneak up on them, and so yeah, I try to carry this in my purse at all times.
Wow.
So this is like the holy Bible. Yes.
Sweet
So
of you.
there you go, 3.
Back to your phone.
Yes.
Can we see what's in your phone?
Absolutely not. No one gets into my phone.
No one?
No one.
Okay. So Sunaina, what do you think of pollution and how can we reduce pollution?
So, being from the developing world, as we both are, we're aware that, our countries have become some of the largest carbon emitters in the world, and adding to a lot of the marine pollution as well as plastic pollution across Asia. I wouldn't call myself a global influencer, but I have brought about changes in my personal life restricted to just my sphere of influence in order to contribute to this. So the first thing that I did was turn vegetarian. The meat industry is one of the largest emitters of carbon dioxide, water pollution, and one of the biggest things that we can do at an individual level is stop eating meat. And that includes fish, Sarah, because the fish stocks across the globe, and especially Sri Lanka, are depleting fast. So eating fish is actually very damaging to the marine environment as well. So that's a dietary change that I've brought on is the biggest thing that I've done. I also try to not use plastic. I try to take paper bags, reusable bottles everywhere I go. I try not to take disposable plastics, like if I go to a Starbucks, I don't take straws. If I do takeout, I refuse the napkins and the plastic spoons. These little things, I realize over several months, I can have a giant sack full of these plastics. So if I refuse them, I'm trying to mitigate the impact. I also reuse a lot of clothes. So since I have 3 older sisters, we wear each other's clothes. We recycle a lot of our clothes. If something tears, we fix it. I don't go rushing to shop.
If I may add one to that, this suit is 15 years old.
So it's fabulous. Absolutely. And something like this would come back in fashion.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the biggest things that women, as one of the biggest consumers of fashion, we can do is try not to shop.
Yeah.
Don't go rushing to buy, brands that release new lines every 3 weeks to, a couple of months.
Yeah.
That's a massive impact on the environment. So I believe, forget about influencing the world, just do it within your own sphere of influence. People will see you, they may or may not change because of you, but at least you make that impact. You left this planet a slightly kinder, cleaner place.
Yeah. Lastly, what's your favorite quote?
What's my favorite quote?
Yes.
So there's a quote by Gandhi ji, and it's quite famous. It says that you should be the change that you wish to see in the world. If I wish to see animals being treated in a better way, I will start with myself. If I wish to see less plastic, I will start with myself. Let me be that person who I would like others to be as well. So I think that's a quotation that I've kind of lived my life by. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Sunaina. Thank you so much for flying all the way from India to specially have a chat with me and inspire the women in Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me on this show. I'm very, very excited to be here with you, and I wish you all the best as a female entrepreneur in Sri Lanka. I think brand Sarah is going to go great places.
Thank you so much.